Wow, that was loud again. Hello everybody, this is Cal Banyan, Cal Banyan's Hypnosis, etc. with another great free hypnosis training podcast just for you. And I am not alone after 3 podcasts in a row, all by myself, all Cal episodes. I have Meredith with me. Hey, before I get to tell you about Meredith, let me remind you, if you're watching us anywhere except calbanyan.com, you want to go there now, because on calbanyan.com, the home of this podcast, right below here, we got more text, we got more videos, we got more everything that just makes this podcast and all the rest more valuable for you. So go to calbanyan.com. Let me tell you about Meredith. Meredith has a master's degree in psychology. She was doing talk therapy long before she came to the world of hypnosis. She's worked with women's issues, eating disorders, and many other things. And now she has a vibrant hypnosis practice in the Los Angeles area. Certainly, if I knew someone that needed hypnosis services and they were in the LA area, and by the way, most people in the LA area and Orange County and everywhere else need some kind of hypnosis services, I would recommend them to Meredith. How you doing, Meredith?
I'm doing so good, Cal. So good to be back.
Are you rocking and rolling?
I am. I'm ready. Ready to bring information to the peeps.
To our hypno peeps, huh?
The hypno peeps.
All right, cool. Well, I got a clipboard worth of stuff. How you want to start off today?
I want to make sure everybody knows who you are, just in case they've tuned in, they've kind of wandered in off the street and found us somehow. So Cal is the one who trains the best of the best, the 1%ers, the best of the profession. He is my mentor, and he brought us 5 Path, 7th Path, self-hypnosis. He's written many books, many articles. He is the one that is the reason why we do these free podcasts week in and week out, free training materials. How does it get any better than that? Cal Banyan, everybody.
Oh gosh, thank you very much. I think this is like podcast 349. That means next one's going to be 350 free hypnosis training podcasts right here on calbanyan.com. Hey, let me do some update on what's happening in the world of hypnosis here, and we'll get into our topic. Hey, you want to give them an idea what our topic today is?
Yes, we have a delicious topic today. We will be talking about forensic hypnosis.
Oh, when you said delicious, I thought maybe we would be doing gustatory hypnosis.
No, how much fun is it getting into some new little area of hypnosis? I find that to be delectable.
Delicioso. All right, let's see. Okay. Hey, let's see. We're going to talk about forensic hypnosis here in just a moment, but just a real hypno quickie, and that is my NGH-approved Banyan Hypnosis Certification Super Course with 5 Path and 7 Path. I got 3 classes scheduled. Beep, 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 beep. News for you, and that is in just 2 weeks. I think we've got a spot or 2 left in our certification course. October 14th. If you want to get in, you got to call us now. You got to get on the phone. And that's October 14th through the 25th. Then we got a January class, which is going to be January 27th through February. For this class, the January classes, you can still get in for early enrollment. And then also in July, we have another course, the July 14th to the 25th. And also, these courses are coming up. You can take them online, live, online. One other quick hypno quickie here. See you at Solid Gold Weekend in Las Vegas. Every year, the National Guild of Hypnotists puts on the Solid Gold Weekend, and they invite some of their most popular, highest rated speakers to come back and do the weekend in Las Vegas. And we do some stand-up comedy. No. Well, we do try to have some fun and be entertaining as we talk on our different topics. And my topic will be, yes, I got invited. My topic will be, of course, age regression hypnosis and how you can get permanent, long-lasting results and really start to be a 1%er by what? By adding age regression hypnosis to what you do. All right, is that it? That's enough for now. Let's carry on, Meredith.
Yes, so you were going to bring some information to us about forensic hypnosis today.
Hey, what happened is a lot of times just before the podcast, because I like everything to be, as spontaneous as it can. It's not like we spend an hour or two getting ready for these podcasts. Meredith already knows what she knows. I already know what I know. So I'll quickly do a little perusal of the news in the world of hypnosis. I got my computer monitors right here and here. And I noticed that there's some things going on with forensic hypnosis. So I just thought I would talk a little bit about it. Now, I am not the leading expert on forensic hypnosis. As far as I'm concerned, the leading expert, I wrote it, is my good friend Marx Howell. And he's got a website, Marx, M-A-R-X, Howell, Howell.com, marxhowell.com. And as far as I know, he's the leading expert on forensic hypnosis. So what is forensic hypnosis? Forensic hypnosis is the use of hypnosis primarily to refresh the memory of a witness or a victim to a crime so that the police can find corroborating evidence and proceed to either defend someone who's been accused or to prosecute someone that's been accused in a crime. So this is mostly the world of law enforcement. However, there are lots and lots of hypnotists, consulting hypnotists, or hypnotherapists who have made a name for themselves in the world of forensic hypnosis. And by and large, what one would do is you'd work with an attorney or with law enforcement, and they would contract you to do hypnosis. Now, hypnosis for forensic use is a very specialized field, and it's mostly about age regression, improving memory, recall, and they have different very specific processes. Now, just before this podcast, I went and visited Marx's website, and I was surprised. I thought that not all 50 states in the United States allowed hypnotically enhanced memory testimony from witnesses and victims of a crime. But according to the number one expert, Marx Howell, he says on his website that hypnotically refreshed recall is legally admissible in all 50 states when used by attorneys and defendants. So I think that's pretty interesting. You want to put something in on this, Meredith?
Well, actually, to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this. I only do this kind of work in helping people to find lost objects. Typically is the biggest way that I do anything in the vague vicinity of this. But I'm excited to hear it's in all of our states, and that we could this could be an avenue for people to further professionalize and legitimize our profession. If we were doing this regularly in court cases, how much more would hypnosis be respected, and actually maybe would help the rest of us who help people with other kinds of things, right?
Well, that's right. And I was doing a little research, and I see that, I'm going to quote a little case history here, Rock versus Arkansas, and then it's got a long legalese numbers after it. 1987, the United States Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court case clarified that the admissibility let me get this right. Rock versus Arkansas is the United States Supreme Court case that clarified the admissibility of hypnotically refreshed recall in court cases. So how's that for a big, the Supreme Court says that you can use hypnosis to increase memory, improve memory. And so that's just another validation of the use of hypnosis. And really in forensic, there's two things to think about. And this is also true in finding lost items or even finding the cause of a problem with a client. And that typically it is agreed upon in the profession that just going into hypnosis increases your memory. And so it's called hypermnesia. It just increases memory and recall. So, but when you do age regression and people revivify, relive, then that also increases it further. So there you go. If you want to know more about forensic hypnosis, visit markshowell.com. Let's put it right there, markshowell.com. And he's got articles on there. It's something you could add to your practice. I believe that every year at the National Guild of Hypnotists Convention, he does a certification course. He's also got courses going on at different locations. Sometimes they're just for law enforcement, and sometimes they're a mixed law enforcement and hypnotherapists, counselors, social workers, and this kind of thing. All right. Hypnosis is moving along. It used to be that it wasn't admissible in all 50 states. Now it is, and so we just keep moving along. One of the things I will close with is just because you're an age regression hypnotist, just because you're a hypnotist, does not mean you can do this kind of thing. It's very procedural. There's a specific way, and typically, if I have my information right, that when you do age regression hypnosis or any kind of hypnosis for improved memory, for this kind of legal work, the entire session is video recorded, because the other side during the discovery process is going to get that video, and they're going to try to tear what you did apart and find places where you were leading or suggesting things to the client in a way that could contaminate the recall and make them say things that didn't happen. I mean, say things happened that didn't happen and that kind of thing. So it's very procedural. You have to follow procedure exactly. Don't just try to do this stuff or advertise it unless you're properly trained and certified. How's that, Meredith?
Beautiful. I love it. And yeah, leading would be the major concern, right? I mean, it would have to be just like we try, we do all kinds of things to make sure we don't lead in our age regression work. It would be even more important if you're being filmed and if it's for any kind of a court-related situation, that all of it came from the client, for sure. But it's a good idea to remember that it always should, right?
That's right. I know that some of our 5-pathers, people who've been trained through our center, have gone on to take that training, and Mark says they have the very, very good background because of our strong background in just excellent age regression hypnosis, and not leading clients, that kind of thing. All right, I think we've kind of, we're not experts on that, so we can't talk a long time about it, but we do like to open the discussion on it. If you are an expert or you want to add to it, please leave a comment down below on calbanyan.com, and we can continue the discussion. Mark Howell didn't know that I was going to talk about this, so I'll probably send him off an email, and who knows, he might leave a comment down there too and be in on the conversation. All right, what else you got for us, Meredith?
Wonderful. So we love questions, and so please do send us your questions. If you have any questions at all, you can post them down there on calbanyan.com. You can go to our Hypnospace. There's an Ask Cal group, and you can post them there, which this lovely hypnotist did. And so I'm going to get into some questions. We may or may not have time for more than one in this episode, but you can also directly email them to me, Meredith at yourpathhypnosis.com. I'm not positive we have approval to use a name, and this person has a kind of a specialized name, so I'm just going to call her A. And A has a couple different questions, and we're going to get into one about forgiveness first. So she wants to know, is it okay for the client to go through the forgiveness of others process in their head from the beginning? I had a client recently who was telling his father all the ways in which he had hurt him, and I could sense he was holding back despite encouragement, so I told him he could do it in his head. I felt that this seemed to work, and he was more able to say everything he wanted to say to the father. Is there any reason not to do it like this? I feel like a lot of people are shy to say everything that they want to say out loud, and I'm wondering if this is because I imagine I would not want to say things out loud, so I am projecting my own feeling about the situation. Should I really encourage clients to talk out loud, or is in the head perfectly okay?
Okay, this is a really good question, and when she says do it in her head, what she means is just silently. So in 5-path we have we take our client and the primary offender in their life, or the offender that's most closely associated with the issue that we're working with, into what we call the round room, and we have them go through a forgiveness process. And one of the things that they do is they need to say, they need to disclose to the offender all the things that they did that really hurt them. And sometimes it can be really embarrassing. Maybe it was an individual that was fondled, or otherwise they just didn't want to talk about out loud in front of the hypnotist. And so it's kind of a trade-off. If I believe from everything I know about the client that there needs to be something else said, and that the fact that I'm there might be impeding the process, I have no problem at all saying, and now just between the two of you, if there's anything else that needs to be said, okay, anything else you need to let this offender know about how they hurt you, do it now, silently between you two. And when you're done, say, I'm done. Now the problem with this, of course, is you kind of stop knowing what's going on. And so when it's done, then the part of this process is just getting it out. You hurt me when, and you tell them, you made me feel, because of you this happened to me, and just to get it out. And then we get to the point, once that's done, where they get on to doing the forgiveness. And then we'll have them say whatever needs to be said in order to get this forgiveness done. And and they say that out loud also. If I think at any time my client would benefit by doing some of that silently just between my client and the offender, sure, go ahead and do that. So I think A is right on with this, but don't do it automatically for everybody. This is one of the challenges, especially with new hypnotists, is there'll be this one unique situation where they want to do something unusual and it works, and they want to use it for everything, and you don't want to do that, because then you start just wasting time, because not everybody needs this. You need to be with the client and really kind of read the client. Does it appear that client is going to benefit by having some out loud talking time, just silent time in between for the client to talk to the offender? If so, give it to them. If they don't need it, well, it'll just take a few seconds, say, I'm done. But the important thing is, after they're done saying what needs to be said, to express their feelings, okay, and to get it out there, that they were hurt by the offender. And then we go into the forgiveness part. You must test to see if the forgiveness is complete, because you will ask the client directly, first we'll say, we don't have time to get into the whole forgiveness process, but basically they express what happened, and then they're going to do the 10 keys to forgiveness so that they get insight, and then they're actually going to say what needs to be said to make that forgiveness process complete. When that's done, what we want to do is we want to ask them to take their attention to the part of their body where they used to feel the anger. And we ask, how does it feel in there now? Because there should be no trace of the anger. Sometimes this little check can be huge, and then we find out that, yes, there is still some anger left. And then we just start over in the process and say, good. Now tell the offender, whoever it is, your mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, whoever it was, I'm still angry about. And then they will once again be talking about this and expressing the anger, expressing how they were hurt, and then going through the forgiveness process again until the feeling in the body is removed. Because according to the secret language of feelings, understanding of emotion, what we have is we have feelings and we have emotions. Emotions are what happens in the brain and the chemical part, but then we feel the anger or whatever emotion we work with in the body. And so it is our feedback system. When it is finally gone, that's when we know the forgiveness is resolved. So this is really important when you're having them do part of the process in their head or silently, because you're not knowing everything that's going on. And so that's why the double check in the body is particularly important. You want to add anything to that, Meredith?
Yeah, I think if you are going to do any of this, allowing them to do part of it in their head, it has to be really precise parts in their head. It can't be this ongoing, do the whole you hurt me when, made me think, made me feel part in your head. It has to be, okay, if there's one thing or if there's a couple things that you'd like to say, that you'd like to do in your head, you hurt me when, you made me think, you made me feel, go ahead and do that now. So it's kind of isolated. What I find is there are some clients who are really great at expressing themselves, and they're really motivated to express themselves. And there are others who just don't really like to express themselves. They're a person of few words, or they don't really know what to say or how to say it, or they feel like their parent is going to be angry with them, or they're going to be in trouble, or maybe the parent is passed away and they feel like they can't say it because of that. And so there's just a whole lot of question marks there, and if they're doing it in their head, you can't support them with it. If you're going to do this, I would say keep it isolated, and I would say definitely don't do it with every client. And also another point I want to make is that usually we're doing forgiveness of others most of the time the third session or later in a process. So by then I would hope you will have developed some rapport with your client, and that there is enough trust so they do feel that you have enough unconditional positive regard for them and for the people in their life that they could share things. And I don't mean that to sound like a judgment, like if the person doesn't still feel like sharing something, you're doing something wrong, because people can be extremely private. But I just want to make the point that it is important to be in a space of unconditional positive regard, and the more you're in that space, that you're not going to think badly about their parents because they're, of what they say, or think badly about them because of what they say. They're going to be more likely to be willing to say those things out loud. So that was a whole lot of my thoughts all at once, Cal. Anything else to comment upon about any of that?
Well, I think you're right on. I mean, all that is absolutely true, and I agree with you completely. Don't just say, don't get lazy, okay, and say, okay, now we come to the forgiveness part, and I want you to just put that person who hurt you the most in that other chair over there in the round room, and just silently between you two, say whatever needs to be said, do whatever needs to be done to get that forgiveness. You certainly couldn't start off a forgiveness session that way. And it should just be in those special cases where you feel like they're holding something back, and you think they would benefit from some individual private time. Good. Done. Can you believe it?
I know, we are definitely over time, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off and let you say anything you need to say. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm happy to be back with you. I'm going to be here for a few more episodes. Please do stay with us. Tune back in next week. Tuesday, like clockwork, every single week we put another one of these out. And again, do send us your feedback, your questions. We want to create community. You are so important to our community. We really look forward to connecting with you. This is Meredith Locker signing off.
Hey, this is Cal Banyan. Thank you, Meredith. So excited to have you here once again, fighting the LA traffic, the Orange County traffic to get here. And real quick, hey, you guys, go to facebook.com/hypnosis etc, because that's where we put little news articles, and there's more ongoing conversation there about this podcast and about hypnosis. And we can just keep in touch that way. So please do that. This is Cal Banyan, signing off.
This recording is a property of Cal Banyan and the Banyan Hypnosis Center for Training and Services, Incorporated. All rights reserved, for private use only, may not be duplicated without permission. For contact information, go to www.hypnosiscenter.com.